Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Generation Gamecast. So, we'll just jump into things. We'll start with. I don't really have much to talk about in this case. I had D&D this week. I worked on a couple of projects that also involved that work and all that good stuff. I unlocked everybody in Smash, so I'm going to be trying to. Oh, and I started playing a Switch game called Octopath Traveler. So there's that. I haven't played it too much to get an opinion on it so far, but it is a JRPG, so a lot of grinding and stuff that involves with that. We'll hop into the game news this week. So, a couple of things happened. So let's go into it. There was a news article that I missed last week that I'm going to cover right now. So it about says it all right there. Street Fighter V will display in-game ads starting December 11th. This is something I missed last week, and that why I thought this was interesting is because essentially how the game devs have it is that if you have the feature turned off, you make less money, less in-game money than you would normally, and I think that's kind of weird. Why don't you just make extra money if you have it turned on? That's the kind of weird, like game design penalties that are just kind of weird in and of itself. So yeah, that's about all I have to say on that. And I just thought it was kind of weird. Also a note, there's a couple things that got announced this week, and one of them involves Arc System Works creates a new anime fighter, and it's based off a game that I had mentioned last week prior. So I thought this would be kind of cool to kind of show off. This is the Granblue Fantasy Versus game. So Arc System Works is normally known for their fighting games. I think they made the Dragon Ball FighterZ fighting game. They've also made other ones, but that's probably the last big one that they've done in the last year. They've also done a couple of other Persona 5 things. So this looks really, really good, surprisingly. Not really sure where it's going to go. This was just kind of an announcement trailer for it. So it looks pretty neat as far as so far. I think all we've seen from it is there might be just sword fighters. Yeah, I think it looks pretty neat. It's also a bunch of other characters. I think there's at least four characters in this game so far. Alright, 5. I'm wrong. Cool guy right there, dual wielder. So that's about as much as I'm wanting to show. Yeah, I think that'd be a pretty neat little thing. Also on the Granblue Fantasy news link from last weekend, after I had done all my things, there's a 14-minute trailer, or not trailer, but showing of the Granblue Fantasy game by Games and Platinum Studios. This is just kind of a 14-minute trailer to kind of like show off what they've gotten done so far, but unfortunately there still isn't a release date for it yet, so we're probably not going to get it at this year. So probably somewhere in mid 2019, possibly. So it's going to show at least like 2 minutes of this whole thing. I'm going to try. Let me see if I can get to some action. Yeah, there's some action. There might be some action there. I've been looking forward to this game for a couple, well, at least when it was first originally announced, I think at the start of this 2018. So I've been waiting to play this game for a while, and I'm kind of happy that it still exists. I'm kind of wondering if this is actually just multiplayer, or if the AI is actually that intelligent. Because sometimes that is kind of the case. Oh. An ultimate. Special ultimate. So, if these are NPCs, then this is actually amazing. If this is just multiplayer content, then I'm kind of like, okay, well, whatever. I think it'd be, I'm interested in it still, despite the fact it looks amazing, and I'm happy they're still working on it. So we will jump to the next thing. Off the topic of a few things, former lead writer of Telltale joins Insomniac Games. I thought this was interesting. Insomniac Games, if you're not familiar with, is the studio that did Spider-Man, the recent Spider-Man game, 2018, and they're most notably known for their Ratchet and Clank games. So this was kind of her tweet, and I'm kind of wondering what this is, how this is going to fare for. Well, I'm happy for her, but I'm also curious of how this is going to affect Insomniac Games and their newer games that may be coming out in 2019. With that being said, I believe the last part of the Spider-Man 2018 DLC story arc, The City That Never Sleeps, is, I think, their last DLC came out today, actually. So there's that. This was off to the next topic. speaking of new things in the works, there is a game that was announced, I believe, last weekend called Void Bastards. This was by development director of Bioshock and System Shock 2. So this is kind of a how do I put this? It's kind of like a roguelike science fiction or sci-fi kind of genre. By roguelike, it's you get as far as you can and you die, and you essentially another one of you is created. This is kind of a short little trailer, so I have no issue with showing the whole thing. You get loadouts. Imagine you'll be able to have people or get people with unique special abilities, as per the majority of most of these roguelike games. Yeah, at first when I was watching through the first part of it, I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." Well, it wasn't even that. It was just like, "Oh, okay, well, that's cool." And then it was like, "Oh, okay, I see what you're doing there. That's cool." Speaking of I don't really have a segue for this one, but Phil Spencer is taking a bigger role in making Windows Store tailored towards gamers. We've got tons of work to do. So this is Phil Spencer had a statement, at least at some point last week, saying that he was looking forward. He was thinking that 2019 was going to be a better year for Xbox. And now, it seems he's actually taking a much more active role in it now. So he's going to be overlooking a lot of things involving Xbox. So I don't know what this means. Only time can tell whether or not this is actually a good thing or not. This is from WCCFtech.com. It's an article that I found. Yeah, I have mixed concerns about this, so I'm not really sure whether or not this is going to end up being a good thing, which I've already stated, but that's about all I can say. So we might as well just move to the next one. I remember this one. So this is actually really cool. This is from Digital Foundry Retro. They're making a GameCube HDMI. This is actually... I saw this and I was actually immediately had... I think this is mostly just kind of an article. Just him talking about the product, but this is actually kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. the reason why I even had it on the docket in the first place, because there's a lot of games that came out on the GameCube that modern televisions I don't think can play that often anymore. I think it's do most TVs have the AVI ports? Yeah, I think this is gonna be pretty cool, and probably something worth buying. In fact, let me see if Digital Foundry fingers losing place. GameCube HDMI. So, oh gosh, the Smash, all the Smash. Let me see here. Is this a product that can be bought? There's a couple of things. Maybe Amazon? Is this a thing that can be bought somewhere? It might be. Yeah. I don't think there's an actual thing, but it is a thing that exists. So be happy about that if you really want to get back into playing GameCube games. That being said, let's move on to the next one. Oh, this is interesting. I found this article on Polygon. Apparently, over the week, or rather the weekend, last weekend, Kingdom Hearts 3 is apparently out in the wild. I found a couple of sources that were talking about this, and apparently a shipment of Kingdom Hearts 3 games got accidentally shipped out too early, and those games got sold on the equivalent of a black market, I suppose. And as this news came out, the director of the project pleads for the community not to share spoilers. So this is pretty much all it was, at least for this article. I did hear on a later update that the ending of the game technically can't be spoiled. There is a day one patch that prevents the game from being fully finished. So there was that. So we don't have to worry about at least the ending of it, but we'll probably get a few things. This is... I wasn't sure on this one, but I thought maybe this would be worth looking into. Overall, we haven't really gotten any more like actual sales data aside from some of this stuff that we found on businesswire.com. So Smash Ultimate has sold. Let me get. Has sold over 3 million units in 11 days, as of this article. And it's so weird because I've been looking around because I was interested in the sales data. I'm assuming that this it sold 3 million units in 11 days in the United States, according to Nintendo's Intel, which it almost made roughly about that much in Japan alone. But there's other things as well that involves in this. So from the launch of March 2017 through November 2018, the Nintendo Switch has sold more than 8.7 million units, outpacing U.S. sales of all other current generation systems at the same point of their life cycles. I think these are obviously like outdated as of now, I suppose, because it's been at least another week since I've witnessed this or first saw this. In addition to the fast-selling Super Smash Bros. Ultimate game, other recently released games that continue to make a splash include Pokemon Let's Go and Eevee, or Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which together total 2 million units, and Super Mario Party at 1.4 million units. So I think there was like an estimated like I think the current sales data for the Switch as of right now is 23 million units or so. It's gaining on Xbox, at least I know that much for sure. I'm actually making some pretty good time on this. So I saw this and I thought this was interesting. So this is called Close to the Sun. And I was kind of curious about this. It seems like a homage to like Bioshock games. It's kind of like a noir style dystopian thing. It's hard to say. As far as I'm concerned, like this is one of those games that you kind of don't have any like ability to like defend yourself. It's one of those crazy horror games. That just kind of revert you to being powerless, essentially. I thought it was interesting. So, as of this little bit of writing here, which I will try to zoom in for you, Close to the Sun casts players back to the height of Nikola Tesla's career in the late 1890s, charging them with running a mysterious ship complex created by the man himself to bring the greatest minds of the world together in an alternative version of history. So there's that. I don't really know anything else other than it might be a horror game. But let's see. In the next part of the docket, we have a bunch of Humble bundle sales that came up to my attention. So the first one that I saw was Sonic. So simply donate at least $1 or more and you get all of these cool little games. If you donate the average, you get these amounts of games. And if you donate 15 or more, you get Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces. This also brought me into looking at the Humble Bundle sales in general. And let's see here. These are pay what you want, by the way. So you can do a pay what you want for Vegas Pro. There's also a limited time offer for Lego Lord of the Rings, if you're interested in that. You can get it for free, apparently. Let's see. There was a couple of other things that I saw on here. I think this was on sale yesterday for a pay what you want. But yeah, these are all little for charity stuff and all that. Yeah, so, and speaking of sales, this is just kind of a lighter note. The Steam winter sale started yesterday, so be sure to get on Steam and check your wish lists and other games that you might be interested in, because they are probably on sale. So to the last couple parts of the docket, there was a trailer for Hellboy, the new Hellboy. I don't want to play the trailer or anything on the stream because I'm afraid that might cause some things. But if you're interested in seeing Hellboy, it is going to be coming out April 12th, 2019. Or you could stop by YouTube right now and take a look at it. And the last part of the news is, kind of ironically enough, we had somebody who got hired into Insomniac Games. We have a very interesting story involving the Insomniac community manager attacking fans. I thought this was nuts. There's already a couple other people talking about it. The guy's name is James Stevenson. He essentially attacked. He went on a tirade on Twitter over the last couple of days, and he essentially was saying things like, you guys don't deserve to play our games, you guys think that you're entitled to play our games or have actual input in our stuff, and that kind of blew up. So I don't know how that's going to fare with their actual community as a whole. I think it's going to be a show to watch. Oh man. So that being said, let's switch the topic. So unfortunately for the Kickstarter roundup this week, we will mostly just be going in and looking at some of our previously aforementioned games that were on last week, and just kind of getting sort of an update. So let's start with Aether. Surprisingly, it was backed last week, and it was backed even more this week. So that game will be coming out, thankfully. So just a review, Aether will be launched on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Oh, some Linux love. That's awesome. There might be console releases. There will also be a Steam release and a DRM. So I believe I will definitely be looking forward to this game, as it is speculated to have an estimated release on December 2020. So if you are a backer and you back this, you know that it will be established in 2 years. And if you're interested in the game, it will be here in 2 years. And Giga Buster was not successful, regrettably. It asked for quite a bit. It ended its barely at half. That's sad. There is a demo apparently you guys can mess with on this website, and it's a shame it didn't make it. So there's no more. I can take that off the docket. This next one, I forgot to look at some more because I thought it was interesting, but it still has 28 days, and it is very close to its goal. I would like to say it's at a percentage of 85%. Its last day is going to be January 18th, 2019. This was the Make Your Own Adventure book. You can play it solitarily or with some friends. It's essentially, the book is the DM and you and your friends are the players. So yes, if you're interested in it, please take a look. I would like to actually see this become a thing, personally, because I like Dungeons and Dragons and other such things. What do we have in this one? Yes, Tabletop Tokens 2. This was backed. It apparently, as of this little thing, it got 300% funded, so that's awesome. I look forward to buying the packs that are available and that are here. If you're a DM and you don't want to go out of the way to buy a lot of things for cityscapes or planescapes, or you don't have a lot of arena pieces for fighting out in random areas of your world, you can take a look at these and buy a bunch of the packs. We reviewed it last week, and they had a wide array of assortment of things that are cool. So Insomniac Games is definitely something you should check out if you run D&D or you like D&D. I've forgotten what this was. Oh, I remember what this one was. Hey, guess what? It's still super backed. It's still going. That's 4 million, dudes and dudettes. It still has 6 more days left, and if you're interested in it, I suggest you get a hold of it. So, luckily, there's apparently going to be a little surprise about tomorrow's time. So remember, as a review, this is in euros. The first pledge goal is for $89, as you can see right here. And it will come in August 2019. So you get the cores, and you get the core box set and all stretch goals, and the special one, the Excalibur pledge, which is you get the core box set, all the stretch goals, and the Monsters of Avalon mini expansion. Oh, this is interesting. They must have just they've added more. Oh my gosh. Where did all these come from? That's amazing. Because these wasn't here last week, if I remember right. So we got the King's Pledge. Gameplay all in. Save 5 GBP. So you get the core box set, all the stretch goals, Monsters of Avalon mini expansion, Red Death expansion, and Echoes of the Past expansion. Grail Pledge. You get all of the ones stated above, plus the Sun Drop pre-paint for all minis, premium card sleeves for all cards, album for artwork, Adventure's Notebook, metal dials, and coins. There's a lot, apparently. Oh, I should state, the King's Pledge is $194, and the Grail Pledge is $354, and I think there's a lot more now. $478. The Group Pledge, you get 6 of the core box sets plus 6 of all the stretch goals. And the Group Pledge gameplay all in is about 6 of everything else that I already said before. The core box, the stretch goals, the Monsters of Avalon, the Red Death, and the Echoes of the Past expansions. So there's definitely a lot going on here now. I'm surprised. But it's super packed, or super backed, and that's all that matters. This was... Oh, okay. Low Fantasy Gaming Deluxe Edition. Less magic, more grit. We looked at this last week. It is essentially a campaign setting that is a supplementary book. So, giving you more ideas of how to run a D&D game that is not very not up there in magic. Not medium, not high, but low. Super low, to be precise, and that's all that matters. $14. Get both PDFs and naming credits. Wait. What is the actual obligation for getting the books? Where do I need to... Both PDF, color, and blah blah. Print and... Well, whatever. So, if this is something you are also interested in, this is backed. It has 15 more days, and well, you can just slack her back because you know it's gonna be a thing, which is awesome. Last on the recap, Malchiors. This is super backed as well, almost by double the amount that they were asking. It has 19 days left. You can slacker back it if you wish. This is a, I guess it's going to be a physical and digital TCG card game. So, got PC and it's got Switch capabilities apparently, as we reviewed from last week. If you're interested in such a type of game, be sure to slacker back it and get your copy of the game and anything else that involves with it today. You have 19 days left, and have mercy. Luckily, there was no other game announcements, and that in of itself, we will be looking at, where are we at? We're looking at this image here. So if you wasn't aware, the last couple days have been pretty up there in terms of like game releasing. So we have Warhammer Vermintide 2 PS4 release. We have the game Atlas that was released on the 19th, along with the Japanese release of Dragon Quest Builders 2. And today we got the DLC 3 for Spider-Man. Also, Insomniac had released a special, what's the word? A special Christmas suit for Spidey for the season. So if you have the game, check it out. And next week we will be looking at any other news, if we have any, for the new year. Cause we have a lot coming out in January 2019. and hopefully it is going to appeal to some people. There's also some other games that I'm looking forward to, and I think that's about it. There might be a anime wrap up the next couple of days, but I'm not too sure, as you can tell in my voice. I actually got done a lot faster than I did last week because I was covering a lot of things from last week and the week before. It's amazing what happens when there's a huge video game event and they announce a bunch of stuff. So with that being said, thank you for stopping by and listening. And well, I guess I should plug a little bit. I don't think there's gonna be any more. I don't think there's gonna be a Let's Play anytime soon, but we will probably have one at the start somewhere in 2019, somewhere in January, where we have a bunch of games coming out. That being said, I'm looking for some help with all that, so I think that's been asking around for a couple people, and well, that's about it. Check out the stream. We'll be doing another episode of the Gamecast, and every Friday. We might change it depending on the news and availability when I start getting some more people in here. But that's about it. So with that being said, Arashi out.